Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the series. Well, it's finally happened. Jesus has been arrested and handed over to the authorities. I looked back over Mark's Gospel that we've been reading over these last few months, and on no fewer than 8 different occasions, Jesus refers in some way, either through parable or event or outright teaching, that he is going to be handed over to the religious authorities. And this is the night that it has happened. You remember that he's been in the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples. They come with a group of Roman soldiers to arrest him, and they take him to the Sanhedrin. Now, the Sanhedrin was the group of religious authorities. There's a couple of things wrong with what's going on here. The first is that there's not one, but there are 2 chief priests in play in Jerusalem in this time. That was illegal. There should only ever have been 1 chief priest. And these guys kind of play off one another and support one another in their activities of that night. The second thing is that Jesus is taken to the Sanhedrin in the dead of night. They are holding an illegal trial. There's a lot to get upset about here. There's a lot that Jesus could have appealed to here. And doesn't he realize that now is the time to defend himself against these allegations, to set the record straight, to tell the truth? I mean, how can he stand by and allow these lies to prosper? I mean, people are going to suffer because of it. People aren't going to be healed if Jesus isn't there anymore. People aren't going to hear the good news of the kingdom of God if Jesus can't tell them anymore, right? Why doesn't Jesus stand up against this injustice? He remains silent. Then finally, the chief priest says, "Are you the Christ?" He says outright, "Are you the Messiah? Are you the Son of God?" And then Jesus speaks. He says, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." Talk about a confession. Talk about stating exactly who you are and what you're on about. Jesus is again harking back to these prophetic words back in Daniel. You remember when Jesus was describing the times to come that he identified with those prophecies of the Old Testament, and here he is again identifying with that prophetic Messiah envisaged in the book of Daniel, the Messiah who would come on the clouds of heaven, sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One. This is a big call. Jesus' confession, Jesus' statement that he is making here, it is bold, it is uncompromising, and it is fearless. Jesus was leaving his listeners in no doubt whatsoever as to what he believed his purpose was and who he believed himself to be. We need to take that same message. We cannot sit back and say, "Oh yeah, Jesus was a good man. Jesus was a fine teacher." No, he doesn't give us that opportunity. He's either the one he said he was, the Messiah, the Son of God, or he was a deluded fool, a raving lunatic, or even worse. Jesus is who he said he was. His confession, his statement that night was uncompromisingly clear. We know how strong it was because then the chief priests, these guys in the Sanhedrin, these respectable religious leaders, what do? They go berserk. Because why? Because according to them, he's just blasphemed. He's just called himself God. And again, we come back to that question of Jesus. Who do you say that I am? Jesus was very clear about who he was, and so much so that the religious people went nuts, accusing him of blasphemy. And to my mind, we do ourselves a disservice when we pass Jesus off as just another important figure in history. He's either who he said he was, the Son of God, able to take away the sin of the world and restore us in a right relationship with the Father, or he was a crazy lunatic or a deluded liar. It's up to us to make up our own minds as to who we say he is. It makes all the difference in our lives. God bless, guys.